Today in Congress, Democrats are calling for abortion rights legislation at the federal level that would make Roe versus Wade the law of the land. This on the heels of the Supreme Court hearing in arguments yesterday in the biggest challenge to abortion rights in decades. For more on the state of play in that court and what's at stake, let's turn to ABC senior Washington correspondent Devin Dwyer. And Devin was inside the courtroom. I was listening, on the live stream. You were there and heard what the justices were saying and doing. We've heard a lot of skepticism in that courtroom from Chief Justice Roberts and the other conservatives about the current standard under Roe versus Wade. How do you read this? Are you with the side that says Roe versus Wade is going to be overturned or undermined? How do you read what happened in that courtroom that you were in yesterday?
Yeah. Terry, I was surprised as you were just how clear the conservative majority was. They came out and made their views pretty well known. And I have to say it was a very good day for Mississippi. They came to the court asking them to uphold this ban on all abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. And as you said, there was a lot of skepticism from the conservatives. They laid it out there. And so clearly it seems like they're open to upholding that ban. And if they do that, of course, that would break with 50 years of precedent protecting a woman's right to have an abortion before fetal viability, which is at about 24 weeks. So the big question, though, and you and I have talked about this, is how far do they go? How do they write this opinion over the next few months as they negotiate behind closed doors and craft their writing? Is there any chance that a middle ground is hammered out? Is there a compromise in some way? It didn't appear headed that way yesterday. Certainly appeared headed towards Roe versus Wade being overturned, at least in part. But this court has surprised us before, Terry, so we'll have to wait and see come June just how far they do go.
So, Devin, you've been following every twist and turn, clearly, and not just the legal battle, but also reporting on what's at stake for women in the state of Mississippi. You talked to women at the last abortion clinic in the state. You did an amazing piece. That's the clinic at the center of this Supreme Court case, Jackson Women's Health. Let's take a listen to some of the women with whom you spoke. They were undergoing the procedure. We won't identify them, of course. And you also had a chance to talk to the director of that clinic. Let's take a listen and have a little bit of a discussion here.
Today, I did not feel ashamed. I came in kind of wishy-washy, but I feel like I have been well informed as well as taken care of.
I'm 8 weeks. So I actually just found out. And I do have other children, but I've also lost a child. And so, having a child pass away of health issues, you don't want to bring it. You're scared. You don't know if they're going to have that problem. And you don't know if they're going to need medical help and if that's something that, you can take on. And it's just not something that my husband and I are ready for. We're just not ready yet. And having the ability to come here and make that decision for us is phenomenal.
Women are taught to hide everything. You should be embarrassed about having an abortion because you're less than a woman if you had an abortion. But men aren't treated like this if they have, go out and get a woman pregnant. Have extramarital affairs and do all these things. It's honestly not fair for women. And we've already grown up like that. We've already been taught all these things, and now here we are again, and you're trying to take out the little we've gotten, the little freedom we've gotten, you're trying to take it back again.
Devin, that's what you do so beautifully. You humanize a topic that we have been talking about for decades. Right there, you did it with those women you talked to, the director you talked to. Let's just talk about what's at stake for these women and also the clinic if the Supreme Court allows the Mississippi law and others like it to stand.
Yeah, we talk about this in abstract terms, Kira, but to go there and to hear firsthand, you really come away realizing how nuanced, how emotional, how complex this issue is. And as that you saw that last woman patient there, Nicole, she was 8 weeks pregnant when we met her, gut-wrenching. A mother of 3, had lost a 4th child, was pregnant with a 5th. She was seeking an abortion, and she told me no woman wants to get an abortion, but that having the choice, the ability to make that choice is critical for her. And if this Mississippi law is upheld, it would ban abortions after 15 weeks. Well, Mississippi only performs them up to 16, so certainly it would limit the amount of time women have to make that choice. It would reduce a right that women in that state have had for many, many years. And as Shannon Brewer put it in her terms, just one day of autonomy being taken away from a woman in that state is a travesty in her view. Of course, Mississippi is also, Kira, as you know, set out to become potentially the first state to ban abortion entirely. So depending on how the court rules, that last remaining clinic, you see it there, the Pink House, as they call it in Jackson, could be shut down. They're watching it very, very closely there in that state.
Just extraordinary reporting there, Devin. And clearly the lawmakers in Mississippi, they were the people voted in, Mississippi leaders who crafted and are defending this law. They've got a different perspective. And among their arguments that the state of Mississippi is making is that it's been a long time since Roe, 50 years, and modern women don't need access to abortion as they did in the past. How do they make sense of that? Can you explain that?
Well, it's an argument they made forcefully yesterday, and they were challenged on it in the courtroom, Terry, and you heard that. Mississippi says so much has changed. Contraception is more widely available now for women. Women are more integrated into the workplace and into the economy. They made the argument that pregnancy is, in their view, much less of an imposition on women as it was, say, 50 years ago. So perhaps, as Amy Coney Barrett put it during the argument, women who have an unwanted pregnancy should just, turn to safe haven laws and turn their children up for adoption. That was challenged pretty forcefully by a number of the liberal justices who made an interesting point, Terry, because no matter what you think of the merits of those arguments, they were raised back in 1992, 20 years after Roe versus Wade, and the court at that time, a conservative court, took all of that in and said, Roe should stand. So again, many are wondering what really has changed over just the past couple of decades, and the argument against that, of course, is that not much has changed.
Except for the membership of the Supreme Court, and that
That's
was
right.
raised as well. Devin Dwyer, thanks very much for that.
Thanks,
And
Terry.
as you said, some of the most interesting arguments you've listened to in a long time.
Oh, they were fascinating. It was, you can get them online. It's worth listening to them. There's some legal stuff in there, but you can hear the passion. You can hear it.
We need passion in this country, that's for sure.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.